Hi, my name is Yuri Lowenthal. I was volunteering with combat veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress when I learned that we lose more servicemen and women to suicide after they come home than we do abroad in combat. I was appalled. I was devastated. I was sad. I wanted to do something. And so I teamed up with Veterans 360 to create this show, Breaking Silence. Thank you for watching.
If you agree that pharmacological support is not the answer of choice, what would you recommend? You meet somebody who doesn't have your brotherhood. You meet a kid who survived a car wreck that killed his parents.
I mean, if you have a fireman that did this, if you have a kid that did this, I think what you're doing right now is that I myself can only speak for us as Marines, as infantrymen, you know, as combat veterans, of how we have dealt with it and coped with it. I think the best way to be approach the firemen, approach that kid, and see how they deal with it. You know, because we have found a way to deal with it ourselves in our own lives and families, you know, but like you said, one thing we do have in common is our brotherhood. And that's something so strong that we can't even explain to people that don't have it. My brothers, both that are here and that are gone, helped shape my life to where I am now. I wouldn't change anything. I would deploy and fight with the same guys. If I needed to go back and fight, I'd do it again. I wouldn't trade those guys for anything. I'd do it exactly the same.
I guarantee you that it's not just one thing that works. You know, it's not just medication. It's not just your buddies. It's not just your family. You know, you need a combined effort. Because when we were in Iraq, every time we left the gates, it wasn't just our squad or our fire team that went out. It was thousands of people we couldn't see. It was millions of dollars dedicated to us being successful on our mission. We're still the same people, even though we're no longer in Iraq. So for us to be successful, for anyone to be successful, it's gonna take more than just one person saying, that's my end-all, be-all, fix it. It's gonna have to incorporate, you know, exercise. It's gonna have to incorporate balanced family time. It's gonna have to incorporate job fulfillment. For some guys, the sheer nature of how your endocrine system goes out of whack, you need medication. You know, I take medication. I don't believe that it is the fix, but I believe it helps me access other parts of the fix. So the problem comes from promising someone through trauma, this is the best therapy, this is what's gonna fix you. Because in my experience, it's been a combination of a whole lot of different types of therapy to help me get to where I am now.
Which is, you know, I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges that I face, is that I know for a fact there is hundreds and hundreds of great therapeutic programs around the country. And I don't give a shit if it's surfing, off-roading, hiking, IMDR, meditation. I have a Green Beret friend who jumps out of an airplane when he gets tight. And he says when his shoe opens, his stress flows out of him. I have another guy who's a former Navy SEAL who listens to John Denver when he goes to sleep. He'll deny it till the day he dies. But that's what floats his proverbial boat. The problem we have with that is that we take people and we give them that good feeling. It's like in the corporate world. Let's go to a sales meeting and you're pumped up and you feel you're gonna make the biggest sale of your life that day, and then a few days later you're like, fuck, I gotta go to work tomorrow morning. My boss is an asshole and I gotta make 70 calls. In the PTS arena, the support arena, we have a similar type of process. We have camps, clinics, all these things. They're great, but they're 5 days. And this is not going to help long term.
Well, Rick, you and I know a tough part of this is getting guys to admit that they need help. I think that's the first step, because there have been times when I've seen my whole life going down the drain, and it was a combination for some guys of being weak. It's a combination of being comfortable in the trauma, because sometimes it just feels good to check out and say, okay, I'm not gonna focus on anything because there's too much noise. I think that's the first step, because until somebody accepts, helps, or gets to a place where they realize that they need help, You can have all these great programs, all this great therapy, but in my experience, I refused everything because I don't have a problem. All you guys got a problem, you're messed up, I'm okay. And when I realized, hey, I got a problem, that's when things turned around. So that's the first step.
We have to educate them before they get out. We have to educate people before they become firemen. We have to educate people before they become policemen. We have to educate law enforcement about PTS. I have a friend who's a Silver Star recipient in Vietnam, and he said, if you don't struggle with combat stress after combat, you were never in combat, or you're a psychopath. How about if we told everybody that? How about if people like you had the opportunity to go on base and say, you know, hoorah. I was there in Ramadi in '04, and you boots, and I'm going to tell you ABC. Not preach to them, but say to them, hey guys, if you are ever unlucky enough to be in harm's way, it's going to hit you. And this is how it's going to hit you. And you need to rely on family. You need to rely on your brotherhood. You need to stay in touch with your buddies. So it's always that we're in reactive mode. We're in a cure mode, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, but we're not in that.
Proactive.
We're not proactively educating these veterans that if they are going to be in that combat, it's going to hit them.
I'd like to thank the magnificent bastards of Ramadi for their bravery in talking about coping with post-traumatic stress. And I would like to encourage anybody watching to reach out to those you feel are suffering, or if you yourself are suffering, to contact us. Some of the information that we have below. Contact Vets 360. There are people out there willing to help you. It's tough, but it's the bravest thing you can do.